Hello, math friends, and welcome back to A Squared Math and Stuff. Today's examples are going to focus on matrix addition and subtraction. One thing about matrix addition and subtraction is you can only add or subtract matrices that have the same dimensions. In this first example here, we have a 2 by 2 matrix, and we are adding that to another 2 by 2 matrix. So this is possible. And when we add these together, we add corresponding positions together. In other words, we're going to take this -1 and add it to the -5. And then we'll take row 1, column 2 of this first matrix, add it to row 1, column 2 of the second matrix. So let's go ahead and write this out. Combining what we are adding and writing it into one matrix, we have our -1 plus the -5. And then we have a -1 plus another -1. Going down to row 2, we have a -6 plus -4. And then finally, we have 3 plus 2. Add these values together and we will get our final matrix after adding these two original that we were given. -1 plus a -5 gives us -6. -1 plus a -1 gives us -2. -6 plus -4, -10. And then lastly here, we have a 3 plus a 2 gives us +5. So that is the final answer for this first example here when we add 2 by 2s together. The next example, when we look at the dimensions, we have a 2 by 3 and a 3 by 2. Now these dimensions are different. There's 3 columns in this first matrix, and we're trying to be adding 3 columns to only 2 columns in this second matrix, so it's not possible. So we will write not possible for our answer here. The next example we will look at is subtraction. So looking at the dimensions, we have a 2 by 3 subtracting a 2 by 3. So we are able to perform this operation. Don't forget, with algebra, we had to distribute negative signs all the way through something in parentheses. Same process here when we're working with matrices. So this negative needs to go to every single term inside of this matrix. Let's write that out. Row 1, column 1 is what we will work with first. We have a -5, and we are subtracting a +6. The next is row 1, column 2. We have a 2, and we are subtracting a -5. And then row 1, column 3, -2 minus a -6. And then we do the same process going across row 2. So 4 minus 1. Then we have -2 minus 3. And then finally we have our 0 minus a -3. Distribute these negatives through, and those will turn to positives, and then we can combine the like terms here when we have two negatives. So -5 minus 6 gives us -11. 2 minus a -5 turns this into 2 plus 5, so we get 7. And then we have 2 minus -6, or -2 plus 6, which gives us 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. -2 minus 3 is -5. And then finally, 0 minus a -3 gives us a +3. So that would be our final matrix. And that is a 2 by 3 matrix as well, so we know we did that right for the dimensions. The last example we're going to look at combines a skill that we looked at previous to this with the addition and subtraction of our matrices. So in this one, we have to look at orders of operations first. we have to multiply this 3 or negative 3, however you want to look at it, through to this matrix. And before we do that, we should double check to see if we have similar dimensions. So we have a 2 by 1, subtracting it from a 2 by 1. So we can do, oh, I didn't write my 1 right there. So we can do this. But again, the first thing we want to do is multiply this negative 3 through. This first matrix stays the same. So we have negative 2 minus 6. I'm going to distribute a negative 3 through. So I end up then with a plus, and I'll have negative 3 times my negative 6, and then negative 3 times 0, which then gives us, first matrix stays the same again, negative 2, negative 6, plus the matrices of negative 3 times negative 6 is 18, and then negative 3 times 0 is 0. Add those like positions, and we end up with negative 2 plus 18 and negative 6 plus 0 for a final answer of 16, negative 6. When you are given multiple matrices and different things going on, you still have to follow the order of operations that we've learned in the past that you've applied to algebra. So again, we multiplied the 3 through because this is multiplication, and multiplication comes before your addition or subtraction. So that concludes today's lesson on matrix addition and subtraction. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below, and I will be chatting with you later.